Every leader knows that a thriving organization depends on the energy, productivity, and commitment of its people. But few leaders are able to cultivate the employee engagement and performance needed for this level of success. What's the difference? Positive leadership practices. Welcome to the Positive Leadership Movement Podcast with your host, positive work culture expert, Alex Bratty. Ready to harness the power of positive leadership? Let's dive right in.
Hello and welcome to episode 24 of the Positive Leadership Movement Podcast. I'm your host, Alex Bratty, and in this episode, we're going to continue our conversation about coronavirus. It seems like it has been going on forever, and it's really only been a few weeks, and of course, it's going to continue. So let's focus on it and what you can do that is from a positive leader position. So last week in episode 23, I talked about how as positive leaders, we have to get creative and innovative in our approach to leading our teams and running our organizations. So if you haven't checked that out, go find it. It's in your podcast platform, whatever you listen to, or go to my website, happinessatworknow.com. You can find the podcasts on there. All right, so this week, we're going to look at a different angle of this, and we're going to talk about the fallout of taking various measures to help curb the pandemic. Like many businesses, you might have employees that are working from home right now. You might have had to furlough some staff. You might even have had to close your business or just have it operating in a minimal way. Whatever your current situation, this is hard. There is no denying it. And while following the guidelines of social distancing and not convening in-person groups is undoubtedly going to help us flatten that curve, it's also taking its toll. So we're going to talk about how to deal with that and how to mitigate some of the impact that this is happening. Now, just before we get into all the detail on that, I want to, as always, just take a moment to thank you for being here. If you enjoy the show, please subscribe, rate, and review it. Now more than ever, it is so important to expand this positive leadership movement. And remember, if you've got a question about positive leadership, just drop me a line at questions@positiveleadershipmovement.com and I'll address it on the show. All right, so let's talk about how we can be handling some of this fallout from dealing with COVID-19. So many people I've heard from this past week are expressing how heavy it all feels, right? Like they're physically healthy, but they're feeling the emotional and mental weight of the very different times we're now living in. And this can show up in a range of different ways, right? Like some people are feeling fear and anxiety over the unknown, what's coming next, and of course the financial impact of all this. Others may be starting to feel depressed or bored from being stuck at home and they're unable to engage in normal activities. Anger and frustration can also surface as more aspects of our lives get canceled. Whatever way it might be showing up for you or your team, please know this is absolutely normal. Why? Because humans are social beings. We usually enjoy the freedom to do as we please, right? We can go places, we can, interact with people we know, we can go to the movies, we can go shopping. I mean, we can do the things that we're used to doing. And so we also, as human beings, we need to know that our most basic needs are being met, right? That we're physically healthy and safe. The fact is, the coronavirus pandemic has basically stolen these fundamental aspects of life from us. And so, if you're feeling heavy from the weight of all this right now, you are not alone, right? It's very normal to feel this because of what's kind of being robbed from you right now, if you like. So here's the good news, though, because there's always good news. As we know, as positive leaders, there's always a positive way to look at things. I mean, yes, we could dwell on the negativity here. There's a lot to be negative about. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of serious stuff happening right now, and I'm not trying to mitigate that. But what I am saying is we can do some very simple yet very effective things right now to help cultivate mental and emotional wellness, both for you and for your team. So let's run through a few of them now. The good news is that all of these are free and they can all be done from home. So whether you're working remotely at home, whether you've had to shutter your business and you're stuck there, whatever it is, you can do these things and you can encourage your team to do them, especially if you are leading a remote team right now and that's a new world for you. Well, guess what? Introduce some of these new practices. Now's the time to try out new stuff, right? If not now, when? I don't know. So let's run through these. I've basically got 5 that you can do. Now, there's many more, but I want to keep this digestible as always. So number 1, limit how much news you're consuming. Now, don't get me wrong. Yes, we absolutely must stay informed right now, especially because the situation is fluid and it's changing by the day, if not the hour. I mean, it's like a few hours goes past and it's like all of a sudden something else is shut down. Another state is shut down. Another country is shut down. Another set of guidelines is being issued. I mean, it is changing constantly. So we have to stay informed. However, that doesn't mean that you should watch cable news 24/7. If you do that, it is guaranteed to bring you down, right? So instead, choose a reliable source that you trust and check in briefly a few times a day. Although, caveat to that, preferably don't check in right before bedtime because it could impact your sleep. Which leads me to my next point. Maintain your routine and a healthy lifestyle. Okay, so right now, especially if you're stuck at home, it might be tempting to stay in your jammies all day, stay up late, binge on Oreo cookies right now. I promise you, if you do that, it will only make you feel worse. So go to bed and get up at your normal times. Get dressed for the day just like you would if you were going to work. Follow a schedule of whether it's work or it's activities to keep yourself focused and busy, right? Like some of this, honestly, by staying busy, it's a distraction from what's going on. And in this sense, a distraction is a good thing, right? And the other part of all of this, and really the purpose in sort of maintaining your routine in this healthy lifestyle is you need a strong immune system right now. And we all know that means getting 7 to 8 hours sleep a night, eating healthy foods, and exercising regularly. Now, if you can't get to the gym to work out because it's shut down, believe me, I'm in your shoes. My yoga studio is shut down. My gym is shut down. I mean, actually, I'm in Nevada. So as of Wednesday of this week, our state completely shut down all non-essential services. So most people, in effect, are in lockdown and they're stuck in their homes, right? But that doesn't mean that you stop doing the things that you normally do. You just adapt them, right? So if you're looking for exercise options, search YouTube. There's an infinite number of fitness classes and yoga classes. Check out this free resource that I came across recently, fitnessblender.com. fitnessblender.com. They have a range of different workouts you can do in your home, and as far as I can tell, everything is free on there. And remember, fresh air and walks are right outside your front door, also for free. Just keep your distance from other humans right now. And in fact, if you have a dog, I have 2 dogs, so I have to go for walks. They need their walks. But we've made it more of a ritual now. I'm walking them further. We're going on different routes. I mean, it's becoming a very special part of the day. And I got to be honest with you, just getting fresh air changes your mental mindset. It really does. And we know a lot of this from research, right? That getting outside in nature, whatever that might be for you, I'm not talking it has to be like a walk in the woods or up to the mountains, but just taking a walk around your neighborhood and being in just some nature, seeing some green trees, some grass, whatever, that does a lot for your mental health. It really does. So just get outside. And if you can't walk, go sit outside for 5 minutes, right? Just get some fresh air. All right, so that was number 2, which is really about maintaining your routine and your healthy lifestyle. All right, number 3. And I think this one is really important, especially for you type A's out there. Acknowledge and manage your stress. It is okay to feel a bit weird right now, okay? So give yourself some compassion and use some strategies to help cope with it, right? So a couple of examples. So one method is to imagine the worst possible situation that could occur. Then imagine the best possible situation that could occur. And then go for the Goldilocks solution, right? The thing that's just right. Follow up with what's most likely to happen, like what's realistic. And once you've settled on what is most likely to happen, make a plan and take action for that, right? Now, this exercise is recommended by positive psychology expert Dr. Martin Seligman, and it's very helpful for putting things in perspective and regaining a sense of control. Because once you have a plan and you take action for something, it gives us back some of that autonomous feeling that we need as human beings, right? We need to feel like we're able to make choices, and it gives us back some of the control that we also need as humans, right? That we feel like we have some control around what is happening to us. And the reality is we don't have a lot of control right now. There are many things out of our control, but there are some that are well within our control. And one of those is you planning and taking action for what you think is most likely to happen, right? And if that means that you think you're going to run out of groceries, well, order online then, okay? Or choose the time where it feels most appropriate to go to a grocery store and take the precautions you need when you go, right? Wash your hands thoroughly before and afterwards. Minimize how many things you're touching. Do not put your your hands up to your face while you are doing it or after it until you have thoroughly washed. I mean, you know all these things by now. We all do. But I'm just saying there's lots of things you actually can control right now, okay? All right, so that's one example. The other example of sort of acknowledging and managing your stress is, and we've talked about this a lot on this show, gratitude, right? Just in the same way that you cannot control a lot of things in life right now, but there are certain things you can control. Gratitude kind of works the same way in the sense that, hey, there's plenty right now that you could not feel grateful for, that you could feel resentful for, that you could feel angry about, that you could feel depressed about. However, there's also a ton that you can feel grateful for. Think of what you have and appreciate it. Count your blessings. I promise you when you do that, you will feel better. Because the great little secret about practicing gratitude is that when you do it, you can't feel negative emotions. You can't have them at the same time. So look around you, because I promise you there's plenty for you to feel thankful and grateful for. All right, and those are just a couple of examples. Like, you might have other ways that you're acknowledging and managing your stress. Hey, share them with me. Send them to questions@positiveleadershipmovement.com. I'll share them with listeners. All right, number 4, breathe. Breathe. Maybe that sounds a little too obvious and basic, but I can assure you it is not. You see, when we're stressed, we tend to take shallow breaths that are mostly up high in our chest. And when you do that, it sends a signal to your nervous system that something is wrong, and it puts you in a state of high alert, which makes you even more stressed. And guess what? That rapidly becomes a nasty downward spiral. And in fact, if you've had sort of moments where you have trouble, getting your breath or breathing, it's probably because you're doing this, because you're up high in your chest and you're shallow breathing. So instead, a very simple solution. Number 1, pay attention to your breathing. Number 2, focus on taking deep belly breaths. And when you do it, inhale and exhale through your nose, not your mouth, okay? When you do it through your mouth, that sort of signals again to your nervous system that, oh, things aren't okay, or you're in cardio mode or whatever. Inhaling and exhaling through your nose and doing the deep belly breaths essentially calms the nervous system. And it sends a signal telling your body that, you know what, everything is going to be okay. So you can use your breath to effectively trick your brain. Okay. And by the way, this is not a new technique. I mean, this is what yogis around the world have been doing for thousands of years. It's a way for you, again, to maintain control and to not let your brain kind of spiral out and then physiologically impact what is going on. You can control all of that through your breathing. And if you're not familiar with belly breaths, put your hand on your belly and focus on expanding and contracting that area, right? Sometimes I actually visualize a balloon inside my belly and that I want to, fill the balloon up as I'm inhaling, and then I want to empty the balloon out as I'm exhaling. And so sometimes using those visuals or putting your hand on that particular part of your anatomy can really help you focus on doing deep belly breaths. All right, number 5. And if you only do one of the 5 strategies that I'm sharing with you today, this is the one, okay? This is the most crucial of everything we're going to talk about today. Socialize. Virtually, of course. I do not mean go meet your friend, okay? We know that positive social interaction support is like just interacting with other people, having social support. It's absolutely crucial to our physical, mental, and emotional health. There is decades and decades of research on this that shows this over and over again, that as Chris Peterson, the late Chris Peterson, who is a world-renowned positive psychologist, would say, other people matter. Boy, do they ever, because think about the other side of the coin. Loneliness. We also know from research that loneliness actually shortens your life. It is the equivalent of smoking 15 cigarettes a day. And right now, life can feel isolated and lonely and socially disconnected. And that's all part of why, if you're feeling weird, if you're feeling down, if this all feels so heavy, a big part of it is this social disconnection. But you can mitigate the effects of this, right? By connecting frequently in the next best way, virtually. This is where technology is your friend. FaceTime with family, hold a Zoom room or Skype meetings with friends. In fact, I'm convening my book club ladies this evening. We're going to have a Zoom room. I don't even know if we're going to talk about book club. It wasn't even, a scheduled meeting. It was just like, hey, ladies, let's all just see each other's faces, bring a beer, bring a wine, bring a cocktail. Let's just connect, because that's what we need in our community right now. And we can't do it in person, but technology is awesome. Feel grateful for technology. It can keep you connected during these difficult times. All right. And finally, remember, and I've said this already, but I want to emphasize it though. Please know that you're not alone. You're not. Everyone is feeling this, okay? We are all in this together. And so if we use some of these strategies, we will pull through this, and probably we will emerge even stronger than before, because we're building our resilience right now. All right. I hope this has helped you. I hope that you're going to use at least one of those strategies. Like I said, if you only use one of them, it's the socialize one. And let me just recap what they were. So number 1, limit how much news you're consuming. Number 2, maintain your routine and a healthy lifestyle. Number 3, acknowledge and manage your stress. Number 4, breathe. And number 5, socialize virtually. All right. If you've got questions or you just want to share some great positive leadership stories, drop me a line at questions@positiveleadershipmovement.com. I always love to hear from you. And if you want me to address a specific topic on this podcast, just let me know. Also, if you want some more simple practices that can increase positivity in your life right now and in your remote workplace, go ahead and download my book for free. And you can get it at my website, happinessatworknow.com. The book is called 25 Tips for Leaders, How to Leverage the Science of Happiness to Increase Performance, Productivity, and Profitability. So yes, it's all framed around work. But frankly, many of the techniques I share in that book are helpful for your personal life too. So Download it. It's free. It's another resource for you to use right now as you're looking for ways to bolster the positivity in your life, in your family's life, in your colleagues, in your team, in your organization. All right, for now, this is Alex Bratty signing off and thanking you for being part of the positive leadership movement. You inspire me to do what I do every single day, and I wish you much health, both physically, mentally, and emotionally right now. You're not alone. We're in it together. I'm here to support you. Thank you for listening.
Make sure you subscribe to the show. If you like this episode, please rate and review. If you want to get more from Alex, check out Happiness at Work, where she provides leaders with a proven path to cultivate a positive work culture that increases performance, productivity, and profitability. Go to happinessatworknow.com. Join us next week and harness the power of positive leadership for your organization.